Anesthetic. The use of anesthetics is less than 100 years old. Beacon. The fire on the hill was a beacon to the villagers that the enemy was coming. Coroner. The coroner concluded that the death of the old woman was accidental. Duel. They decided to settle their quarrel by a duel. Graft. Peach trees can be grafted on plum trees. Impersonal. First come, first served is an impersonal remark. Loom. The large iceberg loomed through the thick gray fog. Peal. As the speaker made a funny joke, peals of laughter rang through the auditorium. Roundup. The missing cattle are discovered in the annual roundup. Straggle. The cowboys worked all night to gather the cattle that had straggled behind the rest of the herd. Ulterior. He was suspected of having ulterior motives for making his generous offer. But in fact, his offer was from the bottom of his heart. Part 2. Auction. The old Chippendale chair was sold at a good price at the auction. Calligraphy. The old man is famous for superb calligraphy. Cope. Jean felt unable to cope with driving in heavy traffic after her accident. Cucumber. Please get some cucumbers in the vegetable section. I'll make pickles. Gruel. Her grandfather is 90 years old, and every mealtime she has to prepare gruel for him by boiling oatmeal in water. Hustle. She hustled off her children to school and started working. Maneuver. Every year, the Army and the Navy hold maneuvers for practice. She maneuvered her car into a narrow parking space with ease. Plight. He was in a terrible plight, trapped at the back of the cave. Scoff. I came to the meeting to scoff, but the speaker persuaded me. Stun. She was stunned by the news of her mother's death. Vulture. A vulture usually lives on the flesh of dead animals. Part 3. Bankrupt. After his store burned, the storekeeper became a bankrupt. Cavern. It suddenly began to shower, and we took refuge in the cavern. Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum usually bloom in fall and show great varieties in the size and color of its flower. Fishery. The inhabitants of the port are occupied mainly with fishery. Gust. In a gust of uncontrollable anger, he broke the picture into pieces. Ingratiate. She tried to ingratiate herself with the teacher by offering some precious gifts. Munition. The reason why we lost the war was not just because of a shortage of munitions. Prostrate. The wretched slaves prostrated themselves before their master. Smolder. The campfire smoldered for several hours after the blaze died down. Tattoo. The hail beat a loud tattoo on the window pane. Wield. In a democratic system, it is the people that wield the power. Part 4. Allude. In his letter, he alluded to me a matter which I had completely forgotten. Chisel. A chisel and a hammer are indispensable tools for a sculptor. Cricket. Male crickets make a chirping noise by rubbing their front wings together. Flit. As we stepped into the bush, birds flitted from tree to tree. High-handed. It was rather high-handed to punish the child for the accident. Lag. The child lagged behind others because he was very tired. Naughty. You naughty boy. I told you not to play on the road. Rattle. We used to hear the rattle of the milk bottles in the early morning. Soot. Soot is caused by incomplete burning and makes smoke dark. Tributary. The Ohio River is one of the tributaries of the Mississippi River. Undo. The workmen mended the road, but a heavy storm undid their work. The children began to undo the string round the parcel to see what was in it. Part 5. Belabor. The rider belabored his tired horse with a stick. Circumference. After dinner, they walked around the circumference of the lake. Devolve. In case of failure of direct descendants, the throne devolves upon the nearest prince. Fret. Don't fret too much, everything will be all right. Honk. The wild geese honked high in the autumn sky. Levy. The government decided to levy a tax on tobacco. It had been free from tax. Override. The new rule overrides all the previous ones. Rally. The scattered soldiers were rallied in the Vale for the next attack. Sprawl. Many people sprawled on the beach in their bathing suits. Trudge. The old man trudged through the deep snow back towards home.